Alright, so I cut out some of the, opening stuff that you saw earlier in the previous part. Basically, just kind of did it off camera. Got to some of the more interesting stuff, which is, of course, when we get here. This is my Night Elf Demon Hunter in the disguise. Yes, even with the wings, they'll never suspect a thing.
His power rising, his chains broken. The remaking has begun. The hour draws near when the banished one shall reclaim what is his. Death comes for the soul of this world. Make ready! Feed the lives of the unworthy to the hungering maw.
Feed the lives of the unworthy to the hungering maw. So yeah, also by the way, time has passed since the last part. I basically decided to hold off and wait. Figured something was going on. So, I basically took a break and did other stuff. Played some Overwatch, some Total War Warhammer 2. And wouldn't you know it, there was another update or hotfix patch or something. I don't know what exactly it did. But there was another patch for, for World of Warcraft. Or an update, I guess I should say, on the launcher. So, there may have been stuff going on or something wrong, and it... Well, I'm sure it got addressed and fixed. Oh, did I already... I already did 3 already. Wow, I did that fast. Also, there were a ton of updates for my add-ons, which makes sense since there was basically a new version of the game that came out today. So at that point, it was like, oh, okay, there's a bunch of updates. So the previous part I did early in the day. This part I am now recording at night. So a lot of stuff has been updated, and as you can probably see, there's not nearly as much lag as there was before. One, because probably not as many people are on right now. 2, I'm on a different server. 3, there have been updates to both the game and my add-ons to perhaps add a bit more stability. And 4, I'm sure Blizz has been addressing their server issues. Because I know it was not on my end. It was all on Blizzard's end. And by the way, as I've said before, whether or not Demon Hunters have actually gotten nerfed numbers-wise is not a big deal to me. What matters to me is if they are still fun to play. And I don't know about you, but personally,
this camp may be lost.
I think they are still a blast to play. I have no issues continuing to play my Demon Hunter here. It's funny how the Demon Hunter that you guys saw me do the entire Order Hall campaign from Legion on, that Demon Hunter I had on the Horde, that Demon Hunter I have basically kind of shelved over to the side, where now he is essentially going to end up being just usable for farming stuff. You know, an extra character for that. This is basically my main Demon Hunter here. Though I have also decided to make another Demon Hunter on the Horde. For one thing, that Demon Hunter is going to side with Altruis and get a comma instead of siding with...
Another defiant soul. In time, you too will serve the banished one.
Now...
Will be the only power that remains.
I think that may have been something that may have been addressed in the update, because that really was not said earlier when we did this, you know, in the previous part. I could be wrong, but you guys may have to go back to that part and see whether or not she actually said that when we first did this. I think that may have been what she was supposed to say. In fact, I believe I saw that dialogue bubble back in the PTR. And I was like, it feels like something should be playing here. That was like on my mind when we did it last time in the previous part on the Horde side. And it feels like in the update earlier, they must have patched that in, realizing that it was not working when it was supposed to be working. So, see, this is why I'm always been a constant proponent of it's okay if it's not working at first, as long as they do eventually fix it. You know?
Yes, you will make a.
It's often when sometimes. Oh. Sorry, I missed that. She said, yes, you will make a fitting prize. I'm not surprised. Of course I would be. I'm the leader of the Illidari. Of course I'd be a prize. And I have Illidan's warglaives to prove it. I'm sorry, but, I spent a lot of time farming those warglaives in the Black Temple. And then, of course, trying to be patiently waiting for the time-walking version so I could unlock these. Because they're Illidan's weapons. Of course I'm going to want to rock these all the time on my Demon Hunters. I know there's plenty of other really good-looking weapons and such for Demon Hunters to use, but come on, it's the Warglaives of Azzinoth. These have a history. These have a legacy.
You have my attention.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'll
Alright, go
pass
kill
round
the Herald.
carefully.
Will
I do not
do!
fully understand the power of this being.
Actually, hold on. Let me show off the
He's
other one.
right. Signal our allies, and we shall bring this monster down together.
Go right over here. Go kill the Herald. No problem. Huh. Trollgore is about to spawn. I looked earlier, Trollgore doesn't drop anything that a Demon Hunter can learn or pick up, so no big deal. Crick Fear the Gatewatcher will be next. Don't see. Where is? Ah, over here. Ah, yeah. It's gonna be a while till someone pops up that I'll actually be able to learn something from. But then again, it's just for transmog. As I pointed out, there's no my Demon Hunter does not need any of the gear from this stuff at all. I'll help you.
The darkness comes.
Did you say darkness? She said the darkness comes. I'm like, yep, I dropped the darkness right on your head.
It's too far away. I need to target somebody first.
Stop his victory.
I don't know what those two are discussing.
More guts, more blood, more food.
More guts, more blood, more food. Apparently, the druid innervated the boss. I didn't even know that was a thing. But whatever. Let's go turn this in. And then we'll go hear Greymane's reaction to what is going on with this Herald. And the realization that, yeah, Jaina and Anduin are in the Shadowlands. I will say what is funny, though, is that it seems like the actual Scourge invasion thing of becoming, a member of the Scourge has hardly been working at all. Maybe I've just been missing it because, well, maybe it's happening at, during the times where I'm at work. I don't know.
Stand true.
All right.
Our paths will cross again.
So now, let's head on back this way. That's daily. I'll take care of that later. I gotta pick that one up too. But then again, I feel like I hardly need to do any of that on this character. I feel like this character is already ready to go for Shadowlands. Like, if you raided Ny'alotha, you are good to go once you have finished this quest line. Like, I'll be able to probably speed through the, whatever we go through next week when I eventually play on this character. I am curious about what differences there are going to be when you play as either Horde or Alliance, because when you think about it, there may not be that much when it comes to faction content in Shadowlands. At least that's sort of my hope, because there was a little bit in Legion, but not that much. In Legion, the only time the faction stuff really came up after the Broken Shore event really had to do with Stormheim. Like, it popped up on an occasion, but very minor. It was more so about the classes and such, instead of what faction you were. Unlike BFA, where it was all about what faction you were on.
What brings you here?
Take me to Stormwind. There we go. Come on. There we go. Ooh, the portal is like right here at the gates near the auction house. Right near the front gates. How about that? Similar type of location in Orgrimmar, near the auction house and Grimosh Hold. So, Greymane, I know where Anduin is.
Hail, champion.
I just noticed I'm flagged for PvP. Why? I think there may be... Oh, it could be part of the invasion. I'll take a look around, see if something like that's going on. These are grim tidings. It seems the Banshee has aligned herself with a darker power than we know.
Never let your guard down.
No sign of Anduin or Jaina. If they aren't being held in Icecrown, it can only mean that the Banshee has taken them into the realms of death. I will not rest until they are found. Work with our allies to keep the Scourge at bay. We cannot allow that menace to overrun our kingdoms. I'll send word to the Knights of the Ebon Blade. If anyone can devise a strategy to rescue our friends, it's Bolvar Fordragon. When the hour comes, we will call upon you to face the darkness and bring our allies home.
Oh, this music. Rest in peace, Varian. But yeah, that music. I always loved that music from Legion. It was very, constant throughout Legion. So I got flagged for PvP, and usually that means there is some invasion stuff going on here. Because that's how it was in the PTR. If you got flagged for that while you were in the capital city, it's because there may have been some plague stuff going on. It's like, oh man, there's a scourge invasion. Where? Like, I am not seeing it anywhere. I am looking all over, and I'm not seeing any, Like, in the PTR, there were, like, these little roaches and such that could help spread the plague, which would turn you into ghouls. You know, to really help with the whole Scourge invasion aspect and how it spread. And I have hardly seen it at all since the pre-launch event started. And I was really looking forward to at least trying it out and showing, you know, how it works, you know, on camera. When you do become a ghoul, what it's like, what you do, what you know, what your abilities are, how you can spread it, what happens when you die as a ghoul. And it just seems like it hasn't been going on at all. And I think it's because they... I'm cautious to say this. Because I almost don't want to put words in other players' mouths. But I've heard about how when they did this back in Wrath, it was awesome for those who enjoyed it, but for those who didn't, they complained and complained and complained, and after 5 days, they canceled the event. And it was just kind of like, oh, man. And, you know, people who were loving it were so disappointed and sad that it had got cut so short, because they were having so much fun with it. But because of the people that were whining and complaining about it, Blizzard was like, okay. And they have basically said that they would never do it again. And so here they were hyping it up, and I saw it, like, in the PTR. But when I saw it in the PTR, you know what I saw? People, once again, whining and complaining about the Scourge Invasion event. Now, I will acknowledge and admit that it did make, you know, doing this whole questline that I have been showing you on camera a bit of a nuisance, because as I was trying to talk with Lorthamar and Orgrimmar, all of a sudden a ghoul attacks me, gets me infected, I become a ghoul, and therefore I get flagged as PvP, and they don't talk to me anymore, and then I die, and then I have to, you know. So while those two things were going on at the same time, it was kind of annoying. But that's why I was kind of hoping that they were planning on doing it at certain times to make it where you wouldn't have to worry about dealing with that while the questing and such was going on. That you could kind of do those separately. Like, okay, I'll do the questing here. Now I'll go participate in the Scourge event, become a ghoul, and be like, yes, Marines! You know, just to have that fun. And it just seems like Blizzard has just kind of, like, called off the whole thing. Because I am not seeing anything in regards to the ghouls and the invasion, the zombies and all that. And it just feels like, once again, they listened to player feedback, aka complaining and whining, and they caved in instead of sticking to their guns to provide a really fun event and coming up with ways for players to either choose to participate in it or not to participate in it, which would solve the problem. Just ask, do you want to participate in the Scourge Invasion event? And players can either choose yes or no. Because we have phasing technology in this game now. There was no phasing back in Wrath. Phasing has been, and layering has been a thing since Cataclysm. I know this because I showed it in the Worgen and Goblin starting zones. That's really when they started to implement that type of technology into the game. And so it's fully possible to have multiple versions of this in the capital cities. You know how I know this? Because you can come here in a completely different instance as a rogue for the artifact quests in Legion. like, you can be in an entirely different version or instance or layer of this capital city without, you know, running into other players. I showed this on camera, you know? And I've experienced it on both sides, both as Horde and as Alliance. Which is why I'm just kind of like, huh? You know, like, I don't really... It's frustrating in that regard, because you get excited about participating in something, and then it just doesn't happen, and you're like, what's going on? Why isn't it happening? And you just can't help but think, well, maybe it's because of this. I don't have any concrete evidence of that, but that's just my theory, because I have yet to see it actually happen since this has gone live on the live servers. I saw it in the PTR, and it was fun when I wasn't trying to experience the questing. When I took time aside to not do questing, I was like, oh yes, this is awesome, this is so much fun. And I was so looking forward to trying this out in the live servers. But sadly, it seems it's not going to happen. So, anyways. So, obviously not much of an actual difference in terms of the quest line compared to what I showed you in the previous video, other than us going to Stormwind and telling Greymane, you know, who is realizing, oh boy, we have to go there to find them. Okay. And that's really the only major difference. I'll tell you one thing I'm hoping to see. Like, if we get called to Icecrown to go into the Shadowlands by the Bolvar or even like Darien and the Knights of the Ebon Blade, that when that happens,
Until we meet again.
that if the Horde and Alliance characters start to kind of bicker at each other's throats, Bolvar just kind of like slams his weapon down the ground and like tells them enough. Like he like puts all of them in their place and mouths off at both factions, telling them none of this faction crap, okay? Things are far more serious than any of this little squabbling that you are having right now. Like, I just want him to like be like, no, we're leaving this stuff here right here before we go into the Shadowlands. We're not taking this in there with us. This stays here. Like, that's something I'm really hoping to see. I really want Bolvar to kind of like assert his authority, you know, amongst both factions, because both factions respect Bolvar like they respected Tyrion Fordring, and I'm kind of hoping to see that. So, and this is part of the reason why I'm very much looking forward to the idea of playing through as a Death Knight, partly because I'm hoping that they will actually have stuff for Death Knight players that's unique. You know, acknowledgements of what happened back then. Why am I again flanked for PvP? I didn't... I'm so curious why this is happening right now. Whatever. Anyways. Unless I have an opportunity to actually show you the Ghoul Scourge invasion in the capital city, this will more than likely be the last part that I show of the pre-launch event, since there's basically nothing else for this event. We basically are seeing the very last parts here that we are going to be getting until we get the actual launch day event where, you know, someone is going to pop up and be like, we need you to come. It's more likely going to be Icecrown. We need you to come to Icecrown now. Not sure who it's going to be, if it's Bolvar, Darien, whoever. You know, for BFA, it was Magni going, Champion, I need you to come to Silithus. You know. But in 6 days, on the 23rd, Shadowlands is launching, and that will more than likely be the next thing that you see in regards to Shadowlands content here. In the meantime, expect to see more of the artifact weapon quest stuff that I've been recording from Legion on alts that I've been working on, as well as possibly some other stuff from games like Total War Warhammer 2. So in the meantime, I'll see you guys. By the way, I actually do have that day off. Somehow, by sheer luck, where I work, they did not schedule me to work on the 23rd on launch day for Shadowlands. And based on where I live, I believe it's going to be going live at 5 p.m. My time, my local time. So I'm hoping to be on that time so I can record when it goes live and launch. I was able to pull it off for BFA. I'm hoping to pull it off for Shadowlands since I'm not scheduled to, since I have that day off. We'll see. Fingers crossed. If not, well, I'll, try and show what I can. And I do wish at times that this is where I was a streamer, so I could actually be able to record streaming it, but we work with what we have at the time. Hopefully that will be something we can do in the future. We'll see how that goes, and I will see you guys in the Shadowlands next time.